Yeah, you have to become up, guys. Otherwise, I have to pick randomly. No one is coming up. Come on, guys, you have to come up. I think looks like no one is coming up. I have to pick up actually. Naveen, will you able to do that? No? Yes. I want a confirmation, you guys.
I'm not aware of the scripted pipeline. I already told you right about that because it's confusing. So
Yeah, it's a confusing. That's why you are here, and I'm here to learn about it. Let's try to be, let's try and get fail. So what is that meaning? So it's fine, totally fine. It doesn't require you to anything. Yeah, I'm fine with if you don't have. See, if you keep on sitting like I'll be having confusion, so it will be like that only. And you have to be get out of that particular situation. You can't think about particular situation always. Okay. Okay, totally fine. I can understand, but still, in the future, this is not going to work. I mean, not for in our class, but when you join a company, right? You can't sit idle if you have any some questions because you have to interact with your lead or project manager to get confused to get out of that particular situation. Okay, otherwise it would be problem. Okay. Yeah, looks like. Okay, good morning, Nanda. Okay, what we just discussed, guys. I mean, I'm just looking for one of the volunteer to do along with me. So to just start basic pipeline. Okay. So I asked for Navi, but he said he's having confusion. But still, I required. That's fine, Naveen. So let's get do the things here. Okay, just be ready. No, don't worry. What you need to do is you just need to work with the Git, and then do commits, and then create a Jenkins pipeline. I'll help you to do that. So okay, fine.
yeah.
So let me do this way. What we are going to do is yesterday what we have learned or what we have done here is we have written a simple pipeline which will do compile fail. I mean, general information, source code management, compile, build, and deploy. This is what the phases that we have tried with this thing. We'll also do the same thing in another way. And another way means what you have done yesterday is you open this Jenkins server, navigate it to this pipeline, and then in here you have defined, I mean, we have selected the pipeline script here, and then you have directly written an entire pipeline script in this snippet here itself. So what we do now is we'll create another pipeline job. Instead of selecting this, what we do is we will be, this is a GitHub. We do have a lot of projects or a lot of repositories in GitHub. Okay. Now what we do is we will create another repository. In this repository, this is a Java again. It's again a Maven. This is a pom.xml will be there. So what we do is we will create a Jenkins file here. Okay. Jenkins file here. And then inside this Jenkins file, we will write the pipeline definition. Whatever we have just yesterday or from last couple of days, we have learned how to write this inside this. Now simply we will write a Jenkins file. Inside this file, we will write our pipeline code and then try to execute. Now what we do is we will whenever, I mean, again, in the pipeline, I mean, in Jenkins server, we'll create a job and then refer this Jenkins file instead of writing the pipeline in definition in the Jenkins server, we will refer this Jenkins pipeline from this repository. So we will trigger this. This is what we will be doing. Okay. This is what we want, and for this we require a volunteer. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let me show you. I do have one of the Java project which is Maven simpler. So I don't have any repository yet. I'm doing from scratch. I mean, this is one more repetitive for the GitHub again. So what I'm gonna doing is git bash again, and I'm gonna create downloads here. Okay, here a lot of repositories, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm collecting. I mean, I'm making sure. Okay, dir Java parser. This is my project which I've done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy. I mean, I have downloaded this source code from one of the open source. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to copy these three files, which is okay under the downloads, git learner Java parser. This is where I've just been created. I mean, this is my source code. I'm working in one of the project called Java parser, and for this Java parser, this is the source code out of it. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a repository for this project. Okay, so what is that? Unable to see the commands if you're typing. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. Thanks for reminding me. Do you able to see this? What I was just doing is I just created a folder, Java parser. I've just copied source code and then just done. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my changes, or I'm gonna create a repository in the GitHub. I hope you can able to see now. Java parser. Right. Okay. So this is a public again. I don't want any readme file. I can create a repository here itself. So I'm good. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my changes here. Okay, I'm gonna execute all these commands in order to push all the stuff here. So first I'll do a git initialize. Since I'm inside of see, nothing is saying. So I'm just initializing it. Initialized. What is the next step, guys? I just initialized. It is there in by default git master branch. What is the next step, guys? Okay. You have to speak about this. What are the steps that we do generally? You have to talk it. What is the purpose for git add? Can someone come out of the mute and then talk, please? And sign up, please. Sorry. Yes, please. Come on.
Yeah, Narendra. So we need to add our changes. Git add adds our changes.
Okay.
And so then we need to commit giving a proper command.
Okay.
Then we need to push whatever changes that has done from our local to your repository. That is like our remote repository.
Okay, right. So it's correct. So now if I want to add, should I add something like individual files like this? Or is there any other alternative way?
Add dot star will do.
Right, exactly. and this is a fine, but actually in a huge changes, right? We shouldn't do a start, but it's fine. Okay, totally. Next one is git add, and immediately the best habit is check if there is any changes here or not with using a git status command. Okay, now I'm done. Now as he suggested, adding my code. Okay, now git commit is done, and the next git branch. Do you know what this guy is saying? Why they have included this command?
So now they are moving to the branch named main actually.
Yeah, not moving, I could say. They are modifying it
Yeah,
basically.
minus
Git,
m is modified. Okay,
right,
okay, yeah.
exactly. From master. Why? Because in a Git, it is a master, but actually in a GitHub, it is a main. They have moved from master to main now. So that's why they are changing a branch name called main. If you see here, master has been done. Okay, next command is what it is doing.
So it is moving the changes from the local to a remote repository.
Come again, can you please repeat?
So we are moving the changes from our local repository and to the remote repository.
Yes, right, exactly. Remote repository, correct.
Yeah.
And
So
can you, yeah,
yeah,
please go.
do you mean the main is a future branch?
No, feature
Okay.
branch, we can't say main is a feature branch. No, it is a main and master. Both are the standard branches. That is the origin of any branches.
Okay.
Okay.
So it would be a best practice like we need whenever we are going to do a changes. So we should create a future branch from the master. Then we need to do our coding, right?
Yes, exactly. That is the best practice. But in our case, we are going to push for the first time.
Okay.
That's why we are doing to push in the main branch, since we never done it as an earlier, meaning this is the first commit and this is the first we are creating a repository for this project. Later
Okay.
on,
Fine.
what they do is they can clone it. By default, when they clone it, it will be master or main branch. Then you create a feature branch or whatever the separate branch from that. Then you do changes on the newly created branch and then push it. That is the process.
Okay. Fine. Thanks. Yep.
Okay. And here, as he mentioned, Git, you are saying, please add, please push my changes to a remote repository. And the remote repository name is origin, and that particular address is this one. Okay, this one. Yeah. So simply it knows now if you do some remote operation, it knows where to push and where to talk. Now finally git push origin. You can provide a information, -u also, and main the branches, because our local branch is done. Okay. Now this has been done. Let me refresh it here. Okay. Now this is good. Okay. Now who has been Kiran, right? Yeah. Ready? Anyone? Kiran or someone, whoever is want to reply. Because I want this. What I'm gonna do is, you have to clone it now. I'm going to collaborate. I'm going to add you as a collaborator here. Uh, can you give your username of a GitHub so I can add you as a collaborator here? So what you are going to do is, you are going to clone this repository, create a Jenkins file. Under the Jenkins file, you would be doing it out. Yeah, Kiran, are you there? Kiran or Naveen? Naveen, sorry.
Narendra, from my side, my VM has some issues, so I'm working on the setup again.
No.
So
It doesn't need, you have a Windows or a Bash?
I'm using Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, that's fine.
Right.
You just need one notepad and then try.
Okay.
That's it. Or else anyone is fine, not only the Kiran, whoever want. Looks like no one. Sharanya? I see you are an alternative for this kind of thing, if you are okay. Otherwise, I can continue. Okay. Nanda? No. Chandrasekhar? Sainath?
I have connected from my office laptop, Narendra. So otherwise I might have connected. Yeah.
Okay, fine, no problem. Let me do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to invite you until you provide me, guys. But fine, you can still watch me. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is, in this one, so I'll keep main always as the correct one. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to create a separate branch. Branch called develop. Branch develop.
Is that the future branch? The Git branch develop is the future branch?
Yeah, you can't say it's a develop. See, there will be always, whenever you create a repository, right? Whenever you do, here is my mouse here. What does it happen? Okay. Whenever you do create a repository, right? By default, one branch is called, that is a default branch. It is called as a main branch. Okay. This is called a main branch. Now from this onwards, this is a main branch. Now from this onwards, it's up to you, whatever the branching that you want to create. Either you create a separate branch, call it as a feature branch. That feature branch name can be feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, or a particular Jira ticket number. Or this is up to you. You can create a directly feature branch. But this is not been recommended. Creating a feature branch directly from a master branch is not a recommended way. What is the recommended way is, or most of the people would be following is, from master branch, which is a default one, what they do is, they'll be creating a develop branch. From development branch, they would be creating a feature branch. This is the recommended way.
Okay.
Okay, this either you name it as a feature one or some Jira ticket number. It's up to you. I mean, it's up to the branching strategy they were following it. It's not recommended, or it's not, no one will stop you if I create a feature branch directly from a master. Yes, no one would stop us. But this is the something. Why? Because this would help you. For example, if you don't have a develop branch in between, what will happen is, if you've done some changes and let's say it is working fine, and you are integrated directly with the master to deploy a production, and it may have some bugs, or it may, in a production environment, some of the bug got raised by some testers or QA team. So what you need to do is, again, you have to revert those changes into the master and then go to the previous version or roll back to the previous version of the master branch. So if you are doing some changes in the master, meaning you are changing the production because of these changes. It is not a good thing. I mean, because of your I mean, in your development work, in your dev environment, it is working fine. In a production environment, it is not working fine. Means it is something wrong. We shouldn't touch the production always with for small bugs. So in order to avoid such kind of issues dealing with the production environment, they'll have a intermediary branches as many as possible, because to avoid such kind of a things. You know, right, in organization, as a developer or as a DevOps person, they will have a restrictions to this level, at least two levels. One is a master branch, another one is a below the master branch level. What they do is they'll enable a restrictions, that restrictions like you can't push to master directly. You can't push, you can't raise the PR to master directly or dev directly. So there is a lot of changes you will be having it. Okay, so I'll show you those since we got a chance to talk about this. There is a something called settings. Under the setting, for example, this is my things here, right? Yeah, rules.
Yeah, Narendra, one second, like sorry to interrupt this. So
Yeah,
when you
please.
say intermediate branch, so for development one, for say, suppose there is a pre-prod for that one and for prod one, so those kind of intermediate branches you mean to say that needs to be created?
Yes, exactly. Those intermediate branch. It's, I mean, at max, at least two branches should be there in between your feature and in your master branch. Master branch is representing your production environment, and feature branch is representing your feature feature whatever you are working on.
Okay.
This way can eliminate most of the things. Of minimum of one or maximum of 2 to 3. That is the
O-
intermediate branches levels. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right. Okay,
Okay.
Sharanya is saying something. Yeah, right. I studied a bit about a branching strategy: feature branch, release branch, bug fix branch, and hotfix branch, or just naming convention with to severe purpose, right? Usually for the pre-prod and prod tags are created, but for development we would have a branches, right? Exactly. What they do is they would create a tags instead of creating a separate branch in order to revert the changes or roll back or you know, giving a particular tag to a particular versions. That would help you. That is also another way of managing your, see, it's their really, it's their strategy. For example, every company would have their own strategy, right? The same way, it's up to them. GitHub is providing you the feature set, and it's up to you how you can utilize it. That's the entire thing. So thing is, when you join a company and you are working on things, first you have to understand what is their branching strategy, how they are following it, how their deployment model from these branches. This would help you to immediately quick or fit in their environment. So this is the best thing. Okay, this way even they can understand, okay, this guy is directly pointing to what we are looking out, so they'll be happy also here. Okay, here as I'm mentioning, right, here is the rule sets. So this way, you know, they'll make you to say here, restrict the creations, restrict the updates, restrict the lot of things. I mean, this is how they will be creating a different rule sets. That rule sets is nothing but instructions to avoid deletions, commissions, updates on the particular branch. For example, if I select a branch name or something like this, right, what you can do is you can create a lot of things here. For example, if my branch is naming pattern starts with a master, or sorry, main, require a pull request before merging. No one cannot merge to my main branch without pull request. This is a rule set which I'm applying on my main branch. It required approval also. How many approvals? At least 4 people, because if it is a big project, you required approvals from a different module lead. So at that time you can mention how many required approvals required by these many members. For example, 2 here. For example, I required a status check before pass merging. So like this, I can apply most of the allow force pushes. So these kind of things I can apply restrictions. This way they can eliminate the mistakes which will be happening in the branch. Okay, now let's back to, we went to somewhere else. But fine, it's a good discussion, I could say, to understand things. And it is okay. Now what we have been doing is, now I'm into the development branch. Okay, now instead of development branch, what I'm doing is, I mean, instead of creating a separate feature branch, I'm doing it in the development branch only. But fine, yeah. Now let me create a Jenkins file here itself. Nano or okay, let me use a VI Jenkins file. See, this is a mandatory where if you want to write any pipeline in for your project, you have to create a file called Jenkins file. This is a mandatory. Otherwise, you can give another name, but when you are configuring your Jenkins job, you have to clearly mention what is exactly the file here. Okay, this is the one. And now what I'm going to do is pipeline, pipeline block started. This is how it will be given. So now I'll stop here because I'm more interested to use, rather than using a command prompt, I'm very interested in using a Visual Studio. Let me save it here. What I'm going to doing is I'm using my editor called Visual Studio, and then this is my path. Where is path here? C downloads git learner Java parser. Okay, this is the old file here, but fine. Now let me open my file. Downloads git learner Java parser. Yeah, here is the Jenkins file. Open. Okay, this is my pipeline script here. Okay, so this way you can always use agent. Any next what is that?
Stages.
Right, exactly, stages and stages block. Right, under the stages block, what next?
Stage general information.
Page, the phase name, for example,
General
keyword
information.
of project info.
Okay.
Okay, under the stage, what is, I mean, you have to remember these blocks here. Okay, and you are just using a echo, or you can use the sh module, or simply do sh module and print something called, this is pipeline. This is a Maven pipeline. Okay, this, now my stage is done. Next stage is, yeah, you have to tell me, guys, along with each and every space and double quotes also. What is this? I'm gonna create a stage now. Yeah, this is stage. What is that next? Parenthesis open and close. Yeah, my phase name is build. So SCM config. Here, open parenthesis. I mean, open curling braces. Within this, I want to use something called git clone. For this, what I'm gonna use is either you can refer with the previous Jenkins build, or yesterday even Sandeep is also pointed out one of the place called, right? You open any of the pipeline, open a pipeline syntax. If you don't know the exact, see, even I don't know the exact syntax for any or some of the other plugins. So what I do is, it's a totally fine, and it's good to find a Google or use any of the reference to do that. So this is a git, and this is a git. And now what I'm going to do is, I have just gone to any of the existing pipeline, use the pipeline syntax, and then I generated a script. I'll generate the script and I'll use it over there. Okay, so now this is my pipeline, and this is this is the repository URL, and branch is not a master. I think it should be develop, because the file that I'm gonna create under the develop, not this one, that's why. And I use these credentials, and I don't want this change logs also. Now generate a script. Okay, this is what I would be using in my pipeline here itself. Okay, this is it. Okay, now this is just basically two stages it has. Okay, now let's save it, compile it, and then see if everything goes fine or not here. Okay, now I have done some changes here. What are the commands that I should do here? What are the commands? Yeah, please speak out.
Git add, git commit, and git push.
Right, exactly. Git add of this Jenkins file, and git, next one is git status, whether it is added. Yeah, it's added. Next one is git commit -m added Jenkins file. Now let me check if there are any changes. Now let me push. Yeah, please someone tell me the syntax of the push of development branch.
Git push origin develop.
Git push origin
Develop.
right, exactly. Git push origin develop. Okay, now it got created up. Let me check. Yeah, develop has been pushed by someone. Yeah, so here they are not done yet. Let me refresh it, but it's back here. Okay, develop has come here. Let's see, this Jenkins file is there or not. Now let's go back to our pipeline syntax here. I mean, our pipelines. Under the pipelines view, I'm not going to do the all view. I just created the pipeline view right here. I'm going to create Maven pipeline and this is a pipeline project, and okay, and then here directly instead of pipeline script, I'll do from SCM. This SCM is a Git repository, and repository URL is my pipeline is the source code under this one. P, where is this? Yeah, my pipeline code or my Jenkins file is under this repository, and the credentials for this repository is this, which I have already configured under the manage plugins credentials, and then that's it. And the branches to build, I don't want a branch of master. I want this to be develop, develop. Is it right? Develop, right? Exactly. And yeah, this is the one. And script path. This is my file name, which is under my root directory of this project. For example, if my Jenkins file is under the scripts folder, right? I have to provide that scripts slash Jenkins file, because generally everyone would be separating this Jenkins files with their main source code. So that is also, but you have to mention the exact path out of it. Okay. Now I'm saving it here. Okay. Now let me build and see if everything goes fine or not. Okay. Let's here and go see something problem with here. What this guy is saying by Narendra under line number 5. Stage project info. What it is saying is unknown stage called SH. Starting version with the 0 steps. Stage must be steps here. See, this is what we want actually. Under the stage, we should have a steps. Here you can follow easily the syntax also is being fine here. See, this is generally what they are complaining about is. Let's do the changes in the source code. Is it complaining about again? Is it complaining about line number 9 also? There are totally 1, 2, 3, 4 errors. Parallel or stages, yeah. Let's try and fix of this guy. And now what that's going to do is okay, now let me check. Let me push my changes here. Fixed step issue. Now let me push my changes here. Now let me go back and rebuild it again and build now, not configure, build now. Let's open for the second time and see console output. Yeah, it is cloning it, but it's failed. What it is saying, this is a Maven pipeline. SCM skipped due to the earlier failure. Fix the step issues. It's able to clone it properly now. Stage under the SCM config. It came here. We don't require poll also here. Okay. This is another default one which has been happening here. Okay, now why it has been failed? Script returned with the exist status 127. What it is saying it? Script sh. This is not found. Let me, what are there any, some other commands here? Okay. That's fine. Okay. Now let me use, first let me, what is exist 127 here? Error code, the process that is running had to be exited because it cannot find a command it was specified. Okay. It's basically Jenkins. Command not found. Why and what command it is trying to find? Script.sh. This is a Maven pipeline. Okay. This is basically this guy, but it is successfully executed, no? This. Saying this. Where is this again? Other than this. Okay. Okay, but fine. Now let's do the stuff of our regular operations. So generally you can do remaining stuffs here. So like you include another stage and along with the build under this stage, there are some steps here. Under the steps here, use the module called mvn compile. And then let's see whether it is able to compile or not. Now let's do the same thing here. Added build phase did push horizon develop. Now let me go back to my pipeline, build again. So because it will automatically pull the latest changes here. Okay, again it failed. Let's see. Yeah, again it is saying that this is not found. This is Maven something due to the error failures. It is something problem with here itself. Okay, okay, got it. SH, since you have used SH, it is saying you are simply, if you open your command prompt of Linux, right? If you type something called SH or some basic command, it will throw you an error, command not found, right? That is what it is showing. Just give me 1 minute, please.
But Narendra, it had failed on the SCM stage, but not project info, if I'm not wrong. In the log.
అదే సీల్ లేదు ఎంసీల్ తీసేది ఎంసీల్ తీసుకోవాలి నేను అమౌంట్ ఇస్తాను నేను తేలేదు ఓకే సారీ గైస్ జస్ట్ గివ్ మీ 1 minute. Yeah, sorry guys, please go ahead. The question that you have mentioned.
So Narendra, from the logs, I've observed it has passed to project info stage and it has failed in SEM, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, what does it happen is, it is came to project info stage, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Under the project info stage,
Oh,
whatever
yes.
we
Mhm.
is used SH module, it is succeeded. But later on, what does it happen is, it is trying to execute this particular statement or line with the sh command,
Oh,
which means, for example, this is the thing. This is Marvin. What it is saying? It is saying that command not found. If you
okay.
give the status of this guy, see 126. This is what it complained, right? Meaning whatever the command that you execute on any of the command prompt, for every command prompt execution, it will give you result called, that is the, if you want to know the result or status code, you can give a dollar question mark. It will give you the previous command exit status code. Exit status code could be anything. Generally, 0 means previous command executed successfully. For example, I have given ls. I want to see the previous command status code, echo dollar symbol. Now you may relate out. There is a something exit code with the 127 because of this. And if you ask me, what about other status, SCM config, build? Okay, these are the phases, right? These phases are being skipped because of the previous failure. Why the previous failure is, it is trying to think this particular line of statement is thinking of some command, that command trying to execute via shell module, and it is complaining, hey dude, this is not a command, not found, please tell me what should I do. I'm exiting with the 127 status code. That is why it is fail here. For that, what I'm doing fixing is, either you remove shell module or give a Linux command which will work in the shell module called echo. It will just print it out. Either of things you can do. Now let's do the changes here. Build phase again. Now let me push it. Now rerun it. Let's see what has been happening here. Okay, looks like this has been executed by the shell module, and it is cloning it, and mbn compile is also working fine. And now let's add one more phase called, or you can do here itself, mbn compile, mbn package, and then that's it. And this, after package, I want to see after doing a package, what will happen is, under the targets folder, let's -al, I want to see the content inside a targets folder. So this I have added. Now let me do the same thing here. Add Jenkins file, and commit with the message called added package statement, and I'll push these changes. And now let me, the previous build is success. Now let me go to build again with the latest changes. Let's watch the logs here. What is happening? Okay, mbn compile is going on, mbn package is going on now. It is downloading few more things. And at the last, we see the list of files under the target folder. Okay. Okay, meanwhile, let it go and compile this and see here. So what we do is, I'll open one more project. Okay, this I'll try to explain you. This is a big, I mean, this is it looks like 200 lines of a pipeline, but if you understand the logic only, if you understand one set of logic, you will easily understand others also. Okay. Before doing this, I'll just do this. Okay. Now let's back to our thing here. Okay. Now in this one, what we do have, we have a pipeline. Under the pipeline, we do define agent. Under the stage, after agent, we define the stages. After the stages, under the stages, we have a multiple stages. Okay. Now the question is not like question. Let's add something. For example, what is happening is here by default, what we are doing is we are hard fixing, or we are hard configured, or we have by default, not by default, we are always been taking the branch of a develop. But what if you ask a user, for example, whenever they are running this pipeline, right? If they ask you which branch you want to check out, instead of develop, if I give you something called if I give you some drop down and select some branches, right? But if you want to do that, it means you are going to parameterize your Jenkins job using environment variables. So basically, now what we are going to do is we are going to parameterize our pipeline now. Okay, but let me see, this got failed with something. What it is saying, there is no folder called targets. That is guy, I think. Mbn compile var lib Jenkins. Okay, where it is should be. Actually, it should generally Eclipse. This is the Maven pipeline, dependency reduced. Yeah, it is complaining about this particular targets folder is not found, but generally there should be one particular file. But fine, let's do one thing. Instead of this ls targets, just give something like this. So we'll see the list of the contents, so it should work now. But fine, let it go. What? Okay, how to know with what to do, that steps to success. Meaning, Naveen, can you explain me? Can you ask me again, please? What to add that steps to success? Can you explain me, Naveen? Sorry, I couldn't understand that statement. Meaning, how to know
No,
how
you
to
just
add. Yeah, it's echoing. Fine. Yeah, please go ahead.
You just added the subjects, right? Steps.
Right.
You just added the steps when it failed, right? The steps like MV compile and MV and package. How do we know
Right.
that we need to add that steps?
See, these steps, because this requirement will give me by the developers. Meaning, developers will share me the commands how to compile a Maven project, how to build this, right? So that's how I know MVN compile and MVN package. For example, if you join a company and as a DevOps and they ask you as write a pipeline working on one of the ML machine learning project, they will give you the step of commands and the variable names, how to deal with that. They'll just give you the commands how to run a machine learning project. That's it. For example, TensorFlow project, if they are working, they'll give you how to compile a TensorFlow project, how to build a things, how to run a particular project of a TensorFlow. They will give you the commands. Then you just need to work out how to integrate with your pipeline. That's it.
Got it.
Okay. For
Thank you.
example, I got a requirement saying that before you compile, I need to create a file called version. That version file, version.txt. That file should be having some information called, for example, 1.0.1.9.0 something. If I want this content, before I do this stuff, right, this is what I need to create a version.txt. This is a requirement given by developers. What they said is, before compiling, please create a one text file on txt file called version.txt. Underneath, it should have this version. What they do tell is, they will tell you this build number should be present in that txt. So instead of that, you can access that particular thing called with the build number. How do I know, sir? What are these variables? This is called a parameters or a variables here, basically. By default, Jenkins will provide you a lot of variables. Let me show you here. Jenkins env variables. What does it happen? See this? Debug engine, disable auth. These are the some of the variables. See, build number. This is what you have to give. So by default, since under this, the build number is 6 or 7, right? It will provide you here. So basically, you have to give something like this. So for every version.txt, it will get the value of this number of the, which is a build number, and then print under the keep it here. So like this, you can use these whatever the environment variables here, right? These are the Jenkins is providing you the default environment variables. This is how you do access your environment variables here. Okay. And now what I'm here is, we are talking about the parameterizing the Jenkins job. Now what we do parameterize is, instead of compiling the, instead of cloning or getting the changes from the develop branch, if I ask the user to provide me the branch, then use that branch to clone it. This is a requirement. This is called a parameterizing a Jenkins pipeline. Okay. So there is something which you would be using. I'm just been showing you right away. So there is something called parameterized block, like stages block that we created, right? There is something called parameters block. Under the block, this is called choice. Under the choice, you would be giving a environment or some other information. Let's do the same thing here. Okay. So before stages, you have to create another block called parameters. Under the parameters block, you do have something called choice block. No, something different here. So this is not a block. This is a function. This function required 3 parameters. Those parameters is called choices with colon here. This is, I want to show 2 things here. One is a main branch. Another one is a develop branch. Or if I have some other branch called, pre-prod, I can select some. This is my choice. And next thing is, you have to describe something called description. What does it mean is, please select branch name. This is one. And the name that I do give is hello. Chan. Okay. Yes, is it clear now? I think there is some lag in my voice also. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, fine. I hope you're able to see my screen here, right? Please let me know. Hello. Okay, right. Cool. Okay, right. Cool. Then. So how do I access it? Now, what we just given is, we have asked the user a choice to select either main or develop or pre-prod branch. And I'm accessing that value using one of the name called branch name. So that I can access is params dot branch name. This way I can use my branch name which I got selected here. Okay, so this is how I would be using it out. Now let me commit this and see. Add Jenkins file. Now added a choice of branch param, and I'm gonna put this change, and then now the thing is got changed here. Now let me go back here, then rebuild again. Console information, it is clearly saying here description. What it is saying, startup failed with this error, unexpected token description, line number 16 or 17. Do you able to see my screen, guys?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, cool. So it is complaining about the line number 6, and okay, what this guy is saying, param dot branch name. Oh, still seeing the only code. You can't see the error. Oh, okay, that is okay, guys. Let me stop share my screen. Yeah, this is error it is saying. there is unexpected token in the description at the line number 16 here. Okay, now let me share back the code again and then see what is the problem here. Line number 6 is this. Okay, and then compile it and do the changes. Now I'm gonna rebuild it again using this guy, Jenkins. Will now it is failed. It's saying that description, unexpected token called description. Multiple compilation error, startup failed. Workflow script, unexpected token called description. Line number, select the, okay. Okay, I'll show you one more thing, guys. For example, I mean, even I also used it recently, Chat GPT for this kind of an issues. Someone is saying, if I'm not wrong, what is comma is missing? Is it? Did I? Is it one? Exactly, guys. Yes, Tejaswi, you are correct. Let me. We do not have something here, right? And then we just corrected those stuff. Now gonna push those changes and then rebuild it again. Let's see, it's not able to find out this. It is succeeded. Yeah, under okay, this is a target folder. It has been there here itself. Okay, so this is what does it happen here. The last build is succeeded here. Okay, build, we have to select something called build parameters. These are the informations that we have given, and I have selected a develop from this choice, and then let's see this build. Okay, and then let's see, it is going compile and then failing it. Fine, it is succeeded also. Now let me select here, and instead of build, right, what we do get is a build parameters. When we use the choices. Okay, under the build here, instead of selecting me the develop, what I do is if I select build with the pre-prod, may fail because it's trying to clone a branch called pre-prod, and it will get failed most probably because pre-prod build, I mean pre-prod branch is not exist. It is saying could not verify the revision build, verify the repository or branch configuration for this job. See, it is trying to clone a pre-prod branch. Since we do not have those branches, we do have the branches only to either main or develop. So, but what we have done is we have given a pre-prod branch. We are giving this Jenkins job saying that please build with this pre-prod branch, but it does not exist, right? So it is got failed. And even if you select the main branch, it will fail because because main branch does not have a Jenkins file, right? Only develop branch has a Jenkins file. That's why even if we select the main branch, it will get failed. Okay, any questions, guys? Hey, Tejashwi, thank you. Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is it for today, guys. Please let me know. We will continue to improve this pipeline again in one more class that is going to be the final, which involves the Docker also, and along with the Artifactory functions. That's it. Nothing else apart from that. So in this pipeline, what we have just done is we just executed, we just included some Maven and then clone. Now, two more things we need to add. We would be adding a Docker related commands in the same Jenkins pipeline and Artifactory related pipelines. Artifactory related pipelines we would be discussing in the Artifactory management. Okay. And we will be dealing with the Docker thing also here. Okay. That's it, guys. Please let me know if you have any questions. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll be here. If you don't have any questions, please drop off. Otherwise, you can stay for another 5 minutes if you want to discuss. Thank you, guys.